Diys-by-dar. I have a brand new Hobby Lobby box and I'm going to maximalize it. The reason I have to buy some stuff is because of the snow. This is my shed where I have my stuff, and we had about 3 feet of snow to remove so I could get in there.
Doesn't have to be, well, look at the door. Just go at the corner of that door there. It can get in. And it's not that much. Oh, man.
Well, here is my box from Hobby Lobby. It's about a medium-sized box. It is solid wood, and I did get this for 40% off at Hobby Lobby, so around $10. So I am going to need to prime this because it's open wood and decide how I want to decorate it. I have some paper and some old molds, and my paper is the Made by Marley Magic Bohemian decoupage furniture papers. You can find them on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Their paper comes 3 sheets in a package. It is on recycled paper, and it is a heavier, thicker paper, so it's nice to work with. Now here is my primer, and it is a water-based primer and sealer. So I'm going to go ahead and just use this on this box. And you can see I have all them little ridges in the top of that box, and I'm not really liking that for putting the decoupage paper on. So a whole layer of Gorilla Wood putty on the top, and when it was dry, I went ahead and sanded the top, and it was pretty tough. So I took it outside and just took the surf prep to it. It made the job a whole lot easier. Now I have some polyurethane resin in a Let's Resin kit. It was under $60. You get 60 ounces in there. And then my Tight Bond Quick and Thick multi-surface glue. So this kit comes with 2 30-ounce containers, part A, part B, of a polyurethane resin mix. Quick cure, takes 10 minutes to set up. It's a 50-50 mix. So I have a little silicone cup there, and I've poured 30 mils of each of the solution in a cup, and I am going to put it in the big cup so I can stir them up together and get this reaction going on there. You can see they both go in clear, and when you first put them in, you're going to get this cloudiness that's inside that solution. And you want to stir in one direction and try not to make any bubbles, and you will see it go clear. There it is clear. You may feel a little bit of warmth, but you need to get that poured. Now I'm pouring these in, and if you find out that maybe you poured a little too much and it domed in the middle, or maybe you didn't pour enough and you've got a ridge around the whole outside edge, simple fix: take an 80 grit piece of sandpaper, put it flat on the table, and then just sand the bottom. Then it will sit flat on your piece. But I need to bend these, so I have to take them out a little bit sooner before they firm up. And if you do this a lot, you'll get used to knowing exactly when that point is. And I'm putting my Tight Bond glue on there, and I am going to get this on the edge of my box, where I can also bend that stem around and kind of tuck it underneath my flowers so it looks as if they are coming out from underneath my flowers on the edge. And I'll put another video in the description so you can see how to do this a little bit better, a little more detail of the description on how to do this. But I have all my molds on now, so I am ready to go with some painting. And I'm just using some Sloan chalk paint. I am going to base all of my molds in a chalk paint so it's easier to mix them to the design on the top. I've got the inside completed, just one coat. I need another coat on the inside there, and then I will be ready to go ahead and start putting my decoupage paper on. And here I am just painting some of those flowers, and you just want to make sure you get them covered real good all along the sides, even go down onto the top of your piece and get some of that color going around. This will just help with your blending. And I'm using chalk paint here again, Sloan. I'm just basing in these flowers with the chalk paint. This is not going to be my final on these. I need to go back with some acrylic and touch them up a bit, but that'll come at the end. And here is my decoupage paper. I have tore it carefully around the spots where my molds are at. So I need to get this on, and I am going to use Mod Podge. And I had a bit of a problem. I should have primed this piece with probably 2 coats, and I didn't. So lesson learned on this one, I still had too much porosity on the top of that piece, and the glue sucked into the wood a bit and then left me with a lot of lines of air underneath. But we are going to deal with it and take a little turn on this project, and it's going to be all okay. So I'm just getting that sheet stuck down, went down nice, but the glue kind of sucked down into that wood. So just keep that in mind if you're doing something that is on a brand new wood. This is dry, so I have a little device here that you can put. I have a 240 grit sandpaper on it, and it's just a handy little sanding block. And I'm folding that paper down again, and I am going to run this at a 45-degree angle away from the paper and just sand this off, and it should come right off for you, and you can tear that off and keep going. Well, right there, you see that little tear that it stopped there. There's probably quite a bit of glue there, which sometimes can be a problem. So you have to be careful. You want enough to hold that edge down, but you don't want to put so much that if you're going over the edge, you glue that excess tab down, because it is very difficult to get off. There's a little bit of glue there, so I'm going to go ahead and just sand that off and make this end nice and smooth. And all of the excess paper is off. I'm ready to move on. You can see a little bit of gloss inside that box, and I had a problem with some bleed through. Another reason I should have put 2 coats, but I put some Mod Podge in there, and I'm going to paint it again and see if it will cover up. If not, well, then we're going to have to get the shellac out. But I am ready to paint on the top of this, and I need to be extremely careful with my decoupage paper. But I'm going to do something to it here in a minute that it's probably not going to matter that much. And there is the one side. I have some painting on the bottom, and the back right around those hinges, I'm going to have to make it look pretty grungy. And then around on some of the corners where I had to trim that decoupage paper off, I'm going to have to add some type of element of wear on the edges to make that a bit more cohesive. And I think we'll be getting closer to getting done. So here comes the little problem I was talking about. You can see it right there, that big pucker, and you can feel it. Is there air under it or is there glue under it? Well, I'm feeling air. So I am going to fix this with some 600 grit sandpaper. It's a kind of a used piece, so that's even a little better, to be a little more cautious on the top. And I am just going to take and sand my wrinkles and make this very distressed on the top. At this point, there really is not too much you can do other than rip it all off, which I'm not going to do that. So this is going to be my fix. I just went around and I felt any areas where maybe there were some wrinkles, and just to hit it lightly with some sandpaper to sand them down and make them a little more prominent, so it just shows like there is more wear on the top of this piece of paper. So I'm just looking it over one final time and checking where the wear spots are. And I did this all over the whole piece. And we will have to go from there, which probably I will put some stencils on there and you can see that a little more up close. That paste sucked right into that wood. Couple mistakes. Should have used more primer, should have used more glue. Now here is my paint selection I have set up to start painting and making this piece a little more cohesive. A lot of times I'll take maybe just dot a color that I've mixed up before I really start painting it and adjust that color. So we've got this side we're working on, and I'm going to work from both ends and work my way to the center, and I'm just going to let you watch. So I'm finished with that side, and I am going over to the other side, and you can see that orange flower has that blue on it. Well, that was on the paper, and I'm having a hard time making that transition with that blue on there. So I am going to have to paint on that orange flower to make that look a little bit better and stand out. So I'm going to start with some orange yellow I mixed up and just get a light layer down so I have my direction going that I want to take it. And definitely it needed just a little bit more red in there. And we'll get that in and blend it just a little bit better. And I'm probably going to call this good. And I think it looks a whole lot better than what it did before with that blue on there. And I need to blend this area in just a little bit more so it's just a tad more cohesive. And I'm going to have to hit them leaves down there to the left that are pulling that blue coloration because you can't see the distinction between that leaf and the background. And I wanted just a little bit more pop on that leaf. So we're going to get to that leaf and get this all blend it in, and we'll go from there. Well, this is how it turned out, and I'm liking that a lot better. And this is going to take a bit more than what I thought, so I am sorry I have a part 2, but I don't know. Give me your opinion in the comments. Do you hate when people do 2-part videos? 3-part videos? What is the consensus on that? Plus, I'm at just about 14 minutes if I continue with making this, of course. Oh, I said, this shouldn't take too long. I can knock this out rather quickly. When you're a maximalist, nothing goes quickly. It does take you some time. So I am going to go ahead and get the blending finished and start with some stencils on this for the next video and do some more details on my leaves and my flowers. And then this piece should be wrapped up, I'm hoping, with the completion for part 2, which will be next Sunday. I'm liking so far how this piece is looking. You can do this. Anybody can do this. You just have to sit down and take some time. Now, I am a brand ambassador for Made by Marley, and they have stockists in the U.S., but you can catch them at www.madebymarley.co.uk. Like and subscribe. 90% of the people that watch my videos have not made a commitment to me. They have not subscribed. Please help me out and subscribe, and then put the bell on. Then you'll know when part 2 is up, and you can watch it. Hey, thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you next Sunday.